I think there's a design flaw hiding in a lot of electric vehicles today. The engineers who designed the vehicle, they'll probably disagree with me. Now, there are a few companies that got things right, but I believe some got it very wrong. This is Stashed. I'm Pat, firefighter, mechanical engineer, and battery guy. Before we get into it, a little bit about my engineering background. Before I was full time on this channel. I was working for a tier 1 automotive supplier doing research and development, and I did that for a really long time. Tier 1 just means that the company was supplying parts directly to the automakers themselves. I worked on a lot of cool projects, and maybe someday I'll create a resume style video just kind of showcasing some of that. But starting in 2018, my focus was on the battery box structure for electric vehicles. And I'm the inventor listed on a number of patents in that space. It sounds cooler than it is. That role gave me access to things that most people never get to see. There are actually companies out there that tear down and benchmark whole vehicles. It's a really cool space. I would literally go into a room and have an entire vehicle's battery disassembled in front of me on tables. Battery trays, covers, modules, cells, bus bars, they're all laid out so I could see exactly what the manufacturers did to design their packs. Now, I also had benchmarking data. I had a lot of CAD data. I got to see exactly how these vehicles were put together. And that's how I ended up doing this. It was really by accident. But it really gave me an appreciation for just how expensive these packs are as well. At one point in time, I was looking closely at the Hyundai Ioniq 5, and at the time I wanted to purchase a battery pack. Now the pack itself was around $38,000 from the dealership. The vehicle was only $42,000 MSRP, so the battery cost was almost the entire cost of the vehicle. And that's common with quite a few EVs on the road today. Take a look at the damage from this vehicle. It's an electric Ford Explorer. Now the outside of that vehicle, there was no damage at all. This video was posted from a repair shop in the UK recently, and the owner hit something on the road. You can see a little bit of damage to the pack itself, and it does look small, but unfortunately, that little tear in the battery pack was a total battery replacement. And since the battery for that vehicle is $45,000 USD, and the vehicle is right around $62,000, they ended up totaling out the vehicle. But realistically, that little tear isn't that little. Once you look deeper, you can see where the problem is. There are multiple layers in a battery pack. Not only did this one tear through the battery tray itself, it also ripped a hole in the cold plate for the batteries. That material is really thin and it cannot be repaired, and even if they did try, they wouldn't want to risk a coolant leak. Just to give you a little bit more info, here's a view of that large cold plate from the other side. That blue stuff, that's TIMS, thermal interface paste. It's where the battery modules sit. And I just happen to have a pair of battery cells here. Now this one right here is from a Ford Mustang Mach-E, and you can see there's two pouch-style cells there. And what's interesting is there's an aluminum plate, and it goes right down the middle. And when I show you this side, you can see those two tabs. Those two tabs help suck the heat out of these battery cells when in operation. They actually interface with that blue stuff. So a small amount of damage and a total loss. But that's not the design flaw I came here to talk about.
Live FD, firefighters on shift.
That was Live FD. Like, subscribe, and follow everywhere. There are three main formats used in EV batteries: pouch, prismatic, and cylindrical, and that format will dictate what happens when things go wrong. Pouch-style cells are flexible, they're foil wrapped, you can see it right here, but when you get them all together, they're all compressed under pressure. The one you're seeing right now is from a Mustang Mach-E. If a pouch cell fails, there's no way to control that failure. It's going to go wherever it wants to go, and it can vent out any side. And since they're all squeezed together under compression, a single cell can rip through an entire module fast, and from there, potentially the entire pack. It's not directional, it's not controlled, it's just catastrophic. Prismatic cells are different. They're built with a rigid case, and most of them include a burst disc, a deflagration vent, and it's engineered into the cell. When a prismatic cell fails, that vent pops and the gas goes in a specific direction. Cylindrical cells, they work the same way. If they fail, they vent through a designated point, and you can see that right here. Now, Tesla does a really good job with their 4680 packs in the Model Y and the Cybertruck. There's actually a dedicated channel that allows venting underneath the cells. So if one fails, that gas has somewhere to go. It's controlled instead of blowing straight into the cell next to it. So here's my opinion. Pouch cells don't belong in electric vehicles because the failure mode is way too unpredictable. And in a pack built for a car, unpredictable is the last thing you want. And it's worth looking at who uses what. Tesla, Rivian, Lucid, the manufacturers that were built from the ground up as electric vehicle companies, they all use cylindrical cells. A lot of the German and Asian manufacturers are using prismatic. They use some pouch as well, but primarily prismatic. And you look at a lot of the legacy Detroit automakers, GM, Stellantis, Ford, and they're building their packs around pouch style cells. Pouch cells are great in small format electronics, cell phones, laptops, tablets, but we really shouldn't be sticking hundreds of them under a vehicle, because if one cell fails, it's going to be catastrophic.